We're back with our socially distant studio visit number 19 in our ongoing pandemic series, which I kind of casually call the Pandemic Diaries because they're far less of a traditional studio visit and more of a checking in with different artists that have been at Hallwalls over the years, see how they're doing, what they're doing, how things are going in these weird times. And today we're talking to Buffalo artist Michael Mararian, who exhibited his work in a solo exhibition at Hallwalls in 2014. One of the paintings is behind me here. So Michael, my first question to everyone, how are you?
I'm good. I'm actually remarkably good. Like I was saying earlier, I'm kind of born for a pandemic. I like just staying home, avoiding people, keeping to myself, drinking giant beers.
Will you be getting a Born to Pandemic tattoo at some point?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I'm number 19, like COVID-19. So I got the 19 spot.
Yes, I didn't think of that. Special edition today.
Special edition. No, I'm okay. It's I keep busy. It's funny. If anything, I've been more creative being here. I got so many things going on. I'm actually been writing too. I've been writing. I've been felting. I've been working on the silly game show we created, which is stupid, but that's the whole point of it.
We'll get to all that in a moment. I like to ask people, no matter where they are, and you're only like maybe a quarter mile away from me here in town, but I like to ask people, how do you perceive these pandemic times, like in Buffalo? When you've gone out, does it feel different to you? Do you think people are social distancing?
Yeah, what's fun? When I went to Wegmans for the first time, and you had to stay away from people, and things were gone, and you could only pick one thing of eggs or limited supply. My first reaction was I felt like I was in another country. Like it felt like I was in like Europe or something. Like the whole shopping, the way we shopped, it was completely different now. And I remember thinking, wow, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why. I think it's kind of like a European vibe now. It's strange, That was my first impression when I went out for the first time. But I don't know. It's it's kind of like it's just weird with the masks, and I mean, it's fine. The one thing I found is I can't understand people. Like when they're talking to me, it's amazing how much looking at people's lips you can hear better, And I found that's kind of difficult for me. Also, because I'm kind of deaf in one ear too, so that's been odd.
Nobody's noted that, but it's very true. And deaf people will often, have a better time. Well, obviously they have to read lips, but people that are hard of hearing, I mean, to see the mouth working, if you're hard of hearing is
I've definitely noticed it.
Now,
but beyond that, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in New York City. I was there for 9/11, so I've had my share of catastrophes. That was enough. So I'm glad I'm sitting this one out. But I have a lot of friends still there, and they said it's pretty bad. So I think we're faring okay. I'm just a little scared about the businesses in the restaurants.
Yeah, as we all are. You're traditionally you've been a painter. That's a painting behind me. But a couple of years ago, you kind of at least suspended your painting practice and moved into, even though painting would be a great thing to be doing during the pandemic because it's kind of a labor-intensive artwork.
I have no interest at all.
But you moved into a craftier realm of art making that is almost even seems more coyly suited to being stuck at home, and that is felting.
Yeah. Ta-da! That's a stapler.
So the weird thing I wanted to talk about with the felting is that I've thought about it over the last couple of years, and it's your paintings often had like this one behind me often had children in weird situations and circumstances, but they're very pop infused kind of works, and the felting is very, very pop as well. I mean, the objects and the things you've chosen to make have a real language about them. Common objects, weird objects, toys, a plunger. What else?
Big nose and glasses.
Well, you barely look any different.
I know, right? Actually, this nose is my father's nose, I realized after I made it. I was like, wow, because my father had kind of like a pushed in nose. And,
I actually really like the cigar stub on it.
yeah, that was the original. This was kind of like the original mask. This would have been obviously all plastic and everything. And then now the newer ones, it's like hair. They have hair on the eye. It's more Groucho Marx. They have hair on the top of the thing, and they have the hair on the mustache. They got rid of the cigar. So I tried to do some of the vintage ones, like this stapler. That's actually the oopsie. I forgot them backwards. This is actually the box. So that's the actual stapler that I modeled it after. You know. I guess I'll put this way. And it opens.
Oh wow! Let's. Are there staples inside?
Well, I try to mock staples, and then I gave up. It was too much work. I forget that part.
So, I mean, given how long you've been felting and how many objects you've felted, I mean, what is the satisfaction that you get out of that particular process?
I like trying to just think of weird things to felt. And I like to keep people guessing. The other day I was trying to think of a way I could incorporate an audience in making them. So I make the videos, and those are fun, letting people try to guess, you know, what's coming up. But I was trying to figure out another way to do it so people can kind of guess what I'm going to make. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I like to just kind of like the big nose and glasses, you know, and I like to just go in different directions with it and just see the oddest, strangest things I can make out of felt, you know. A lot of people just do animals like bunny rabbits. I did a couple of those to start with, and that's a great way to hone the craft. But at this point, I know it's very Duchampian, but it's fun, you know, and it's a challenge too. It's to see how I can execute it. Like the nose, getting this to attach on the back was tricky, and then this was actually kind of hard to make, believe it or not.
And how much time does it actually take? I mean, is it kind of like the perfect activity to be doing while self-quarantined?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have to order some of the felt, so I have to kind of wait, you know, for things to come in if I want to do a certain color or if I need something. So I have to go to Etsy. I usually get all my felt on Etsy, all my wool. But no, it's great, you know, and yeah, it's a great thing to do. You know, it's kind of like knitting, you know, and you know, and it takes me not, you know, the big nose and glasses took me like the weekend. It took me like 2 days, you know.
So that's actually pretty fast, actually.
Yeah.
What's the next object?
I don't know. I have a little kind of like a little journal of things I try to do. Let me see here. A barbell. I thought that'd be kind of fun because the idea is the heavier the object, the almost like the funnier it is to make it out of felt. You know, that's one of them. A hubcap. You know, strange little things. My favorite one I haven't done yet is a car battery. I thought that'd be kind of interesting.
I like the car battery. I like the hubcap idea a lot too.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. What else have you been doing with your time?
Like I said, I've been baking. I made an pineapple upside down cake the other day. And this week I'm going to make a lemon blueberry buttermilk cake.
So you're just making baked goods and sitting at home and eating them.
Yeah, I'm getting really fat. I give some of them away. I give some to my neighbors. You know, I divvy them out to people. I don't eat the whole damn thing, you know. But it's nice. I like baking. It's kind of fun, you know.
I think the other weird thing we should talk about in terms of what you're spending your time doing is that you actually kind of started your own game show called Emag de Puts.
Emag de Puts, which is stupid game backwards, basically, is what that means. And it's years ago when a buddy of mine lived in Hell's Kitchen years ago. We just came up with a game. We had a bowl of these little slips of paper. I actually have one over here because this is the same setup. These little slips of paper that had things written on them. And It was like a movie game. You know, you pick a type of movie and something in it, and you try to, you know, think of what it would be. You know, and but at the time we had a cable access show called Cranberry Sauce, and we did like skits and all this crap, and it was fun. You know, we did that for a bunch of years, and then we always said afterwards. He lives in New Jersey. I'm here. We always said, hey, we should do Emug to Puts again, and we were going to do a podcast, and we never did it. He was working. I was working, and then now with the pandemic and Zoom, we're like, hey, you know what? This is like the perfect time to do this silly thing, you know? So now we do that. We do a Zoom group every week, and I edit them, I put them together. But it's more like match game kind of meets pop-up video. So,
Well, run us through the, give me an example of
okay,
one of
well,
the,
see, I have all these little things here. So, for example, it would be right here, a movie with flashbacks.
okay.
And it would have to have, and I just pull this out, a movie with flashbacks with a fat man. So then we think about it. You sit around, you think about it, and they're hard. Some of them are really hard. Like this could be hard, but a movie with flashbacks with a fat man could be, I don't know. Offhand, I would think of something like The Meaning of Life, the Monty Python thing with Mr. Creosote. You know, there may be flashbacks in that format. You know what I mean? So the idea is to pick the quintessential movie where, you know, like I always say, like an action movie with a bus, the quintessential answer is Speed, you know, and that's the perfect answer.
Okay, so flashbacks and a fat man, I would say Citizen Kane.
Ah, see, that's very good. And that would be your like, so we write them all down and then we show them, and then it's kind of like kangaroo court. We all decide who gets the best one, and we give a little point towards it, you know. But it's more fun. It's more of a meeting. It's about talking about movies, and people bring up the strangest movies. You're like, oh my god, really? And then it's fun for me because I try to grab clips from them later, and I look them all up, and it's like, wow, you know, I want to watch that movie.
Pull up another one.
All right. You should play around, John, with us. All right, what's this one? Oh, this is hard. This is gonna be hard. A black and white film. That's kind of going back to your Citizen Kane, right? But anyway, black and white film with a classic male villain.
Oh, well, that shouldn't be that hard.
Don't say anything. So the idea is we try to match. Ultimately, we all want to. So if we all match, if everybody gets the same answer, that's called an emug de puts. So, for example, I would say we write them down, and I would say, for instance, let's see. You have one?
Well, I have three.
All right. So again, you got to pick your best one, though. I'll say this.
Oh, okay, but I'm going to end up saying all three of them eventually.
Okay, this is mine.
Nosferatu. Okay, I thought of Touch of Evil.
Oh,
again, another Orson Welles.
Another Orson Welles.
But I also thought of The Maltese Falcon, and the first one I thought of was the Coen Brothers, The Man Who Wasn't There.
I didn't see that. See, that's a perfect example of movies people bring up, and we're like, wow. You know, so if anything, I tell people watch the episodes because sometimes you leave it going, well, you know, I kind of want to watch some of these movies now, you know.
Okay, one more.
One more. All right. So you're addicted. It's addicting. So the idea would be to see what the epitome of a black and white film with a classic, you know, or Dracula. Actually, Dracula probably would have been the perfect one, you know. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Teenage horror.
Okay.
Two there. I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be tricky, but we'll see. with money. Some of them are impossible. Now, an emug even though if we all match and get the same thing, that's an emug it's also an emug if it's impossible, if it could not have happened.
Teenage horror with money. It's kind of hard. I don't know. Do you have one?
I don't offhand. If you don't have one, you say Congo. The movie Congo, because Congo sucks. We hate Congo. But
Well,
like I'm trying to think of some kind of movie where it's like, you know, maybe not a horror, but like something's gone wrong. These guys, maybe they go to switch money, or like a classic Coen Brothers film. You know what I mean? Where somebody's like trying to do some money thing, and everybody gets killed. You know,
I guess I would have to say Congo on that one.
Congo, yeah, you'd Congo out on that one. so it's hard. But like I was saying, an emug if you match everything, it's an emug Or if it's something impossible, like a dinosaur movie with Sylvester Stallone, it didn't happen. Never happened. You know what I mean?
How frequently does everyone match?
Quite often. You'd be surprised. Not everyone. Like the other day we had, see if you can guess what people guessed. It was a holiday movie, but any holiday, like Thanksgiving, Halloween, with a newscaster. So everybody pretty much got the same answer except one guy.
I don't know.
Groundhog Day.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
That's
so everybody picked Groundhog Day, and this guy picked Elf. Because there's a newscaster at the end of Elf who comes on. You can't fault him, he's right.
Of Elf, but I couldn't remember if there was a newscaster in it.
Anyway, so that's kind of the game. You know, it's fun. John, you should play. You want to play? We'll have you on one episode.
Maybe.
I think you'd be good. I always wanted you to come on it. But anyway, so that's been busy. It's kind of nice. It's a nice respite for me. You know, I've been working that stupid valet job. And, you know, and even though it's nice getting out, meeting people, it's kind of interesting to be home now. And it's like, oh, now I'm like creative again, you know.
You feel more creative being stuck at home?
Yeah. It's like I'm doing everything now, you know?
Well, what else is everything?
Well, normally I would, like when I was working, maybe I would write something. Maybe I'd felt something every couple of weeks. But it seems like in the last couple of weeks, I've been baking, felting, doing the game show, and writing. Those 4 things, you know?
What are you writing? A play?
No. I'm actually, I have an article coming out in Buffalo Spree, and it's about baking. But it's really not about baking. That's kind of like, you know, Elizabeth Licata asked me to write something involving that. But, you know, I'm not really a baker. I'm a you know, novice, you know, amateur baker. But I think it's kind of fun to write these stories that are around baking, you know. And so I did that one, and I'm going to try to do another one coming up. But the magazine got delayed because of everything going on. You know, and the next one is about, the one I'm working on now is about apple pie making and my mother. And I write about my mother and my father. My mother was a great baker and cook. And so that's kind of the crux of the story, and it kind of goes into a little bit of baking.